So what I need for a user at a minimum is going to be a username and a hash value. And probably an email would be good to have as well. But let's keep it simple for now. So I'm going to make a new Python file. I'm going to put my user class in it. So class user, and it's going to have pass hash. Let's call it hash. Hash is nothing, and username is nothing. And then I'm going to def a constructor, which is going to take a hash value. Actually, it's the username first. Username and hash. And then self.username is username. Self.hash is hash. And then I'm going to define a getter. And get hash. And then that's all I need for now. And then, so I'm going to do this in 2 steps. So the first step is in my web app, I'm going to make a class property for my user account. So I'm just going to say, let's say user is username is going to be Mark. And then the hash from user import user. So the hash I'm going to compute over here. So, and I'm not going to store it anywhere. And normally I wouldn't show you, but I'm going to show you. So we're going to say, let's return bcrypt.checkpw test me 1 2 exclamation point. And then I'm going to use a new salt with rounds equal 12. So guidelines are the this thing here, hash, should take about 1/4 of a second, depending on how much traffic you expect. So I'm going to, and this is about right for me. Whoops, I wanted to hash, not check. Hash. And I need to encode that. All right, so there's the correct hash, which I can let anybody see and nothing bad will happen. And I'm going to, in the second step, I'm going to actually put this in a database in a MongoDB collection. But for now, I'm just hard coding it. And then I'm going to use that for a login function. So I already have a login route. And so let's go ahead and make a login function. And I'm going to put it right after the home page. And this is going to use get method. And if nothing has been, if username and password are not supplied in the URL, I'm going to show the form where they can enter their login information. But if user name and hash or password have been included, actually this has got to be post, then I'm going to treat it like they already filled out the form and click the submit button. So I need to use post because I'm sending the password and I don't want the password to appear in the URL like it would if I was using get method. So methods are post only, actually post or get. So they can use get if they're just accessing the page without passing anything in, but they have to use post if they're passing something in. And then here's my route function. So if username, not in request.form because it's using post. Then return render template login.html. So I'm going to show the login form if they did not click the submit button and post a username. Otherwise, username, I'd do the same thing if they didn't pass in a password. So if password is not posted, then I'm going to show login. Otherwise, I have both username and password. So request.form username password request form password. And then I can check the password. So let's call user.check password, username, password. And then success is either going to be true or false. So if success is true, then I want to print you are logged in, else print you are not logged in. And then here I'm going to redirect back to the login page. Okay. And there's a redirect thing here in Flask. So I'm going to redirect that to, and then there's also a URL for. So URL for will take the name of one of these entry points, one of these routes, and create a URL for it. And then redirect will return a relocate request to the user's browser. So you put those together and you return redirect URL for slash login, I think. Maybe it's just login. And you can optionally specify a code here, response code. 302 is the default, which is fine here. So that should take me back to the login page if login failed. And I'm going to do something fancier later on, I think, but for now. And then if I'm logged in, after I print it, I'm logged in, I'm going to return redirect URL for, oops, the home page, which is just slash URL for. Let's see how that goes. Okay. And then I don't have my check password, so let me do a check password here. So that's a static method. Username, password. And actually, this thing I should put in here for now. So we're going to, and then make this a class method so that we can refer to it. Okay, so now I've, if username equal cls.user get password, I'll get username. And decrypt dot check pw password dot encode comma cls dot user dot get hash. All right, So if both of those things are true, then return true. Else return false. Okay, so let's go ahead and import bcrypt. And import, actually, this is interesting. So I'm inside the user class and I'm trying to call the user method. So let's do, yeah, let's just do under init. I don't know. We'll find out whether this works or not, I think. Okay. Now there's a little problem here because this is a relatively quick check. And the way AND works is if this thing's false, it will just skip this part entirely because it knows that the whole thing can't be true. And so if I specify a username that doesn't actually match, this will take 0 seconds. But if the username does match, then it's going to go here and calculate that, which takes longer. And so if I time this, if I time the response, I can use that to figure out whether the username has been specified successfully or not. And that leaks information about who has accounts and what usernames there are. So what I want to do is I always want to do this calculation. So so we'll say check is equal to that part. We'll call it hash match or password match. Yeah. All right. So password match is the call result of this call to check password. And then, so that always happens, always takes the same amount of time. And then here, I check both things. So, so whether it succeeds or fails, it's going to take the same amount of time. All right. So let's go ahead and run it and see what happens. So yeah, I was worried about that. User is not defined. So I'm trying to call the constructor inside the class. Can I just do this? Probably not. Yeah, because I haven't defined it yet. Well, what I can do is just move this into here. So that will happen after the user class is defined. And this is what I would do anyhow, because I'm going to ultimately call a database method that returns this user object. So it's fine to just go ahead and make it here. All right, so web server is running. Let's log in. I don't actually have my form yet, though. I have to do my form next. Okay, so just making sure that's the error. Yeah, so template not found. So I want login.html. And let me start with any of these pages. Let me do update. Yeah, okay. I want the new user form, I think, because that has multiple fields in it. So new show form, because I'm going to reuse that. I think that has a table layout that I want to reuse. All right, good. So log in. Please enter your username and password in the form below. And then this is going to call login again using post. And then I'm going to have username. And the field is going to be username. And I'm going to have password. And that's going to use type is password, which hides the information the user types in. And the name is password. And then get rid of all these. And then I need my submit button too, which is down here. All right. And then login. Okay. So there's my login form. And I'm going to reload. And let's try Mark test me 1 2 exclamation point login. So I got an error. CLS user. Right. It's just a variable now. So I don't need the CLS or here. And it can be a static method. So let's try it again. And confirm form resubmission. Okay, user check password missing one required position argument password.
You gotta get rid of the CLS. You have 3
Yeah.
augments there.
Okay, thank you.
And yeah,
Not here, over here, right? Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Okay. Okay, and now object is not scriptable. Okay, let me go up a couple levels. Let me take a look at what I'm actually passing in there. Password is request form password. I'm probably going to want to put a breakpoint there. Password.encode. Let's go ahead and reload it under the debugger. Rerun it. Yep. Rerun. Okay. So password, that looks right to me. And username. And I'm doing password. Oh, you have to actually call encode. All right. So it didn't even need to rerun it. Okay. All right. And then I need, yeah. Dear. It didn't like my URL for. Probably just wants that. Okay, so I'm logged in. And then could not build, yeah. I was just trying to get fancy, but that was foolish of me. Never get fancy. I'll leave that login one there for a sec. Let's see what that does. Okay, so I'm logged in and I get the home page. And then if I log in and give an incorrect password, yeah, it says I'm not logged in and it gives a 302 redirection back to /login.